Why multimillionaires and billionaires don't own anything. A business owner once looked at me and said, "Todd, I own everything." I smiled and replied, "That's exactly what worries me." He laughed. He thought I was joking. I wasn't, because after more than 30 years helping entrepreneurs and high net worth families, I've learned something. One of the biggest differences between building wealth and protecting wealth isn't what you own, it's how you own it. Most entrepreneurs spend decades building assets, the operating businesses, the office building, investment real estate, intellectual property, cash, investment accounts. And as success grows, they often keep buying everything the same way. Here's the problem. Your operating business creates wealth, but it also creates risk. As your net worth grows, so does the complexity surrounding taxes, estate planning, business succession, asset protection, and long-term family planning. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to explain why many successful entrepreneurs eventually rethink how their assets are owned, why ownership structure becomes increasingly important as wealth grows, and how sophisticated families often approach planning differently than they did when they first built their businesses. Hi, my name's Todd Villarubia, with more than 30 years of experience helping entrepreneurs, physicians, business owners, and high net worth families navigate complex tax, estate, asset protection, and wealth planning strategies. One of the first things I review isn't someone's investment portfolio. It isn't their tax return. It's how everything is owned, because that tells me a lot about whether their planning has kept pace with their success. When you're building a business, simplicity usually wins. One entity, one owner, one mission, grow. But over time, life changes. You buy commercial real estate. You acquire rental properties. You create intellectual property. You build investments outside the business. Yet many people never revisit the structure they created years earlier. The business evolves, their wealth evolves, but the ownership structure often doesn't. Most successful business owners continue adding assets to whatever structure already exists, not because it's wrong, but because it's familiar. Their CPA handles the taxes, their attorney prepares documents, their financial advisor manages investments. Everyone's doing their job, but very few people step back and ask whether the overall ownership structure still supports where the family is today. As wealth grows, ownership structure can become part of a much bigger planning conversation. Tax planning, estate planning, business succession, asset protection, family governance. These aren't separate conversations. They're connected. And often, the way assets are owned becomes just as important as the assets themselves. One thing I've noticed about highly successful families is they eventually stop asking, "What should I buy next?" Instead, they start asking, "How should we own what we already have?" That's a very different conversation, because sophisticated planning isn't always about acquiring more. Sometimes it's about making sure what you've already built is structured to support your long-term goals. Building wealth is one challenge. Preserving it is another. The strategies that helped you build a successful company aren't always the same strategies that help protect it over the next 20 or 30 years. As your business changes, your family changes, and your goals change. Your planning should evolve too. If you've built significant wealth and you've never taken a fresh look at how your businesses, real estate, investments, and other assets are structured, it may be time for that conversation. If you're wondering whether your current business structure and planning still fit where you are today, I recorded a short video that walks through many of the strategies and planning considerations successful entrepreneurs evaluate as their wealth grows. Click the link below to watch it now.